Hello, Macarena.
Hello, Mateja.
Hello, and hello everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. So my name is Mateja Mihinjac. I'm Executive Director of the ICA. I am joined by our ICA President, Dr. Macarena Rau, and we are here today to talk a little bit about the ICA Umbrella Initiative and why we actually launched the initiative and why we think it's important. So just a short agenda for today. So we're first going to talk a bit about why the ICA Umbrella Initiative. We're going to then move to what it actually is, what's the formal structure of the initiative, then how to go about applying as an ICA chapter with the ICA, and then tips on establishing a new chapter. And then we're going to kind of sum up with some concluding thoughts. Okay, so let's launch and start discussing a little bit about why the ICA Umbrella Initiative. So, Macarena, you last year, or I guess it's 2 years ago now, at the ICA conference in Cancun, Mexico in 2019, you actually held a keynote where you discussed the Umbrella Initiative and why we kind of need to be connected and so on. And then, so that the idea was kind of launched, and then as the new ICA board was formed that year, we then started developing the initiative, and then we approved it at the ICA board meeting in April last year, 2020. So could you maybe tell us a little bit about, like, why do you think it's important? Why did you have that idea about the umbrella structure and so on? So how did it come about?
First of all, thank you so much, Mateja, for inviting me to this beautiful space of talking and experience exchange. The presentation in Cancun that I did, defining the first ideas of the Umbrella Initiative, was the final point of a very long process that we started as board members when I was appointed by the board of the ICA president 3 years ago. When I was appointed, the idea was to renew some of the aspects of ICA that needed to be updated, and we started a strategical thinking process. It was very, very interesting 3 years ago. And we had the participation of all board members. This was a collective and participatory process. This process gave us spaces to reflect. One of those spaces were also in Cancun, a workshop that we did there. And the Umbrella Initiative is like a concluding point of that process, and it initiates another phase of the development of ICA in a global scale. And why it is so needed an umbrella structure. We know that CEPTED is a very strong methodology. We have many CEPTED practitioners all around the world, but in the past, those practitioners work very separately, not necessarily connected. For example, one region with another region that is in another part of the world. The idea and the spirit of the Umbrella Initiative is to articulate them in a very organic way as a system. And if we can articulate all CEPTED practitioners as a very holistic system, then of course we will grow in a more sustainable way, and we will be much more stronger as CEPTED family.
Mm-hmm. Very good points. Yeah, thank you, Macarena. And I something that I think was very important when we were developing the formalized structure basically of the Umbrella Initiative was that we really wanted to connect with kind of organizations and associations on the ground, because CEPTED is practiced locally, it's practiced on the ground, right? So as a global organization, we could connect to some of them, with the people we knew, but I think the ICA Umbrella Initiative really opens more doors for us to be able to develop the field of CEPTED, exchange knowledge and experience, connect, collaborate, right, with those different organizations on the ground. and learn, because like your region, you're from Latin American region, it's very different compared to North American region even, or European. And we have some of the, we could say, emerging markets or emerging regions when it comes to SEP, that also in Africa, India has been very active now as well. So I think this, in my opinion, if you agree, it has opened those doors for us through this initiative.
Completely. Yeah? The beautiful part of the Umbrella Initiative is that it gives spaces for everybody. Everyone that wants to apply accepted methodology, who is accepted practitioner, has a space in the Umbrella Initiative, and you will describe, I know, very good and in a very accurate form, the ways they can connect with the main umbrella, that is the International Accepted Association. The idea or the slogan that we use is that we are united in our differences. We value much the difference, and we will integrate that difference to make a better ICA for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great, thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, let's then move to kind of discussing what the ICA Umbrella Initiative actually is. And I kind of want to talk about it as basically as a new form of organizational structure, because I think that's what it is actually, because it, in a way, it decentralizes the global organization that the ICA is into these smaller entities. And I do want to share the screen here and show a little bit what we're talking about in terms of the structure. So can you see that okay, Macarena?
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, so when we're talking about this network of organizations that are connected at different levels, which is what the Umbrella Initiative is. So we're talking about these three levels. Global level, which is basically the ICA headquarters or the International Accepted Association, represented by the ICA board. Then we have the second level is the regional level. So this is the current 9 ICA regions. That might change in the future. We are currently reevaluating the number as well as the kind of geographical representations of the regions, because the world is changing, and we also need to basically adopt based on how SEPTED is developed, where the needs are, and so on. So, but currently, SEPTED is represented by 9 ICA regions, which are accessible on the ICA website. And then the third level, this is where the ICA chapters fall in. And this is basically when we're saying SEPTED is practiced locally. This is what we're referring to. We're talking about that really local level, which can be national, state level. It can be an organization representing the country, or just a city or organization itself, and so on. So these are basically the chapters that we're establishing these more formal relationships with, which I will later talk about as well, about the process of applying and so on. So it's essentially, the chapters are these organizations or associations that we collaborate with. And maybe just to mention that when we talk about the regional level, this is not a formal structure, but it's basically like if we're talking about Latin American region, for example. So the region then covers those chapters that are networked within those regions. And if we kind of jump to the chapters that we currently have formal relationship with, we can see that in Latin America, for example, we currently have SEPTED region corporation, SEPTED region, or I always get confused with in different languages, it's pronounced a bit differently, and SEPTED Mexico. So those are currently 2 official chapters that we have in Latin America. And if we look at other regions, in Asia, we now also have 1 chapter, Association for Building Security, India, and then we also have Safer Sweden Foundation, which we have just ratified at the board level, and we were about to sign the MOU with them. And then we also have the Dutch chapter, which was also the regional chapter, represented the region. So this is also in process. And did you want to add something there, Macarena?
No, I am very glad and happy to see that the Umbrella Initiative is working so fine, and that we are constructing this beautiful map, because it means that the structure was well designed. You are doing incredible job, Mateja, as Executive Director, because you are promoting so much in all regions with all ICA board members, of course, and I am super happy to see this scheme, because it means that the work is going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's an ongoing process, right? I mean, obviously we want to make sure that we have this populated, so, and in the future we are certain that we will, but at the moment, obviously there's, it's been less than 1 year. We have 4 formalized chapters so far, and we are expecting a few more, and we're very much looking forward to that and ongoing collaboration. I do want to mention maybe one thing, and let me just come back. I do want to mention that the idea of ICA chapters is actually not new. We did have chapters which were not necessarily in a formal fashion where we would have, signing documents of cooperation, but it definitely provided important groundwork for what we're doing now. So I think we had DOCA, which was Design and Outcome Association, based in the UK, then EDOCA, so the European, kind of continental European part of EDOCA, then Asia Pacific, Safe Cascadia, in the US, and also the Latin American region, of course. But something that maybe was missing there was that more local context, because, like we said earlier, again, SEPTA happens on the ground, and regions are quite diverse themselves. Like in Europe, for example, we have not the problem, but I guess it's the beauty of having so many different languages, but it does sometimes create collaboration challenges, and having it more localized, we think, is very important.
And also, just to add or highlight the idea of that a person of practitioners can join with ICA in 2 forms, with a formal chapter and also with affiliate groups. I think this is something that is very flexible and friendly to the ground, because sometimes some group of people, they are just starting. They want to form a chapter, but in the future, not yet. And they can join with ICA being an affiliate group. And this is something very interesting also. It makes it more easier to construct the Umbrella Initiative finally.
Mm-hmm. And that's a very good segue. Thank you, Macarena, because that's exactly also the next point, applying. So let's go to point 3. So applying to join the ICA as an ICA chapter. So how to go about it, who can apply, and so on. So I would like to go, actually, let's first just discuss who can join. So like Macarena said, it can be formal, non-formal group. This is exactly why we created these 2 levels. One is MOU chapter, distinction between MOU and affiliate chapter. One is more formal, the other one is a little less formal. And I will actually jump back to screen sharing just to show that. And I hope you can see that okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, so if we talk about who can apply for MOU chapter, so we said here that this is intended for association organizations with the primary focus or extensive focus on SEPTA. So if we have, for example, SEPTA region, that's the organization that's really strongly focused on SEPTA. And then we also have some organizations that are, let's say, they're doing crime prevention in general. SEPTA can be just one thing on their agenda. That will most likely fall under this affiliate type of chapter. But I would say there's no clear cut. That's why we evaluate each application individually, because sometimes there's these subtle differences that are really difficult to basically to have a clear cut line. So but in general, the idea is that ICA chapters are more formalized, and affiliate chapters are not necessarily also formalized, might not have membership structure, and they might be, for example, university department, local governments, research institutions or groups. There might be, let's say, neighborhood watch associations and similar. So
yes, and just to add something that I think is very complementary and very needed, together with the affiliated group and the MOU possibility, is that each group that is going through the path of SEPTED, it's very relevant that they design a strategic plan, a SEPTED strategic plan, because always researchers are less. It's very difficult to organize a group of different persons, but if you have a very clear and well-designed strategic SEPTED plan for the next 4 years, it is more easier. So we as ICA, we suggest that. Probably you can explain that better also, Mateja.
Yeah, I do actually have this little diagram also prepared on kind of the steps that each applicant has to go through. So the first step would generally be like we expect you to review the document so that you know whether you're actually applying for MOU or affiliate chapter, to make sure that you satisfy all the requirements, such as, for example, membership. Just if maybe I quickly jump here, sorry. I do want to emphasize that for MOU chapters, we do have a requirement of, let me just find it, a requirement of membership requirement. So all members of the ICA chapter or prospective chapter that hold leadership positions are expected to be members of the ICA. So that could be president, vice president, or chair, depending on how you label that, treasurer, secretary, executive director. Whereas with the affiliate chapter, because we said it's a slightly less formal structure, we want to make sure that at least 3 members are of a prospective chapter are also members of the ICA, because we want to make sure that you're kept up to date with what's happening, and that you're connected to our organization as well. Okay. So that would be step 1. So review all the documents, make sure that you know which level you're applying for, and so on. And then step 2 would be that pre-application level. So we would like to get to know you. So if you're interested in becoming an ICA chapter, please email us, let us know that you'd like to talk to us. We'll schedule a meeting, chat a little bit about what you're doing, what your plan is. And also based on our feedback, we will then ask you to develop a preliminary strategic plan. Like Macarena said, we want to make sure that we see what direction you're going to, that you actually have an idea about moving forward. Because if we're going to collaborate together, we want to make sure that we together can help advance the field of SEPTED and collaboration, mutual collaboration. And then we would also like to meet you, if possible, at the conference. If not, we might have a few of these meetings as well in the process. And then if we believe you're ready to apply, then we will actually invite you to officially apply as well as an ICA chapter. Okay, and then step 3, that would be a formal application. And on our website, we have a form. There's a Google form that you submit, and this is where you submit this formal strategic plan, which shows your plan for 6 months and then up to 3 years. This will also be your formal application. There's a few more details that we will ask you to submit in that application, and that then goes to the board. And if the board approves unanimously, then we will send you an MOU or agreement for signing. And of course, MOU or agreement type of document will depend on whether you're a formal MOU chapter or whether you're an affiliate chapter, which is the agreement type of document. And then after both parties have signed, we will officially welcome you to the ICA and to our growing family.
That's perfect, and very well the explanation, Mateja, very clear. Thank
Great,
you for that.
thank you. Please do jump in if there's something that I may have missed.
No,
But
I just want to highlight 3 main points regarding the attitude towards this umbrella initiative from each group. We are very open to have new members in our accepted family, but the idea is that they have an attitude very positive towards a collaborative spirit. This is something very relevant because we know that crime problems are very complex. No one is the only one who can solve a crime problem. Crime problems are multivariable. So the idea is that we can move forward with a team spirit work, also collaborative work, and that we are as connected as we can in this big network. So with these 3 main points, I think everything will be very successful when a group wants to be part of the accepted family.
Yeah, well said, exactly, because we really, our focus is on collaboration and advancing the field. So we want to make sure that the applicants are also, that's one of the reasons why we also want a group of at least 3 individuals so they can collaborate. So it's not an individual who has, let's say, a private business, who sometimes want to advance their own agenda. Nothing's wrong with that at all. We all need to work, make money, and so on. But we do want to see that person connect with some other people as well, who can work together and have a vision for what they're trying to achieve and how they can advance the field of CEPTED, not just their own business, but also CEPTED, because we won't grow theory and practice of CEPTED unless we do that. Plus, it's more sustainable. If you have more people working together, you can actually do more. You can last. If we only have one person working, you either burn out or you just don't have the time for it. So
yeah, that's the attitude, Mateja. Very well explained again. Yeah, that's the attitude.
Cool. Well, considering that you have so much experience on actually establishing chapters, and you created a whole network of chapters within your Latin American region, I think it would be great to hear from you, Macarena, a few tips about how to actually go about first maybe establishing that group of like-minded individuals, and then how to actually continue building and formalize those organizations which become chapters then.
Well, thank you for the question. This is a difficult question because most of the time we are very busy and don't have so much time to reflect about the best practices approach of our own story. But I think it's the first issue is that, at least in my case, I am very passionate about CEPTED. I love CEPTED really because it's a very useful methodology when it is well applied. For that purpose, we suggest to get certified also by the certification program of ICA to really know if you are applying well the methodology. You get the certification and accreditation if you have a course, for example. But the first thing is to be very passionate about CEPTED. When you are very passionate, you connect and you transmit something in a very truly way to other people because you believe in something. And this is, in my case, my story. And then I start training other in CEPTED, and they get passion also. Finally, after 20 years of very committed people in CEPTED, we have a very nice and strong and vibrant network. You met most of the network in Cancun past year. And really, for us, the crime problem in our region is a dramatical problem. Much homicide, much drug dealers. So for us, it's very relevant to find real solutions. And CEPTED has been an incredible way to reduce fear perception, crime opportunities, and increase social cohesion in many communities. So this is the resume of the story. And now we are a very active and vibrant network. And the other aspect is that we always work as a team. We never work alone because the planet, the society now needs more people with less ego and with more collaborative spirit. And I think this is the basis of the Umbrella Initiative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, very well put. Yeah. So so you basically, when you build the network of people within your region, you essentially put yourself out there. Like, people wouldn't know about you unless you actually promoted the approach, unless you actually went out and did the work, spoke to people, right? So would you say that's an important element of building the network, like going out there? Yeah.
We need to tell to the people the successful stories. The most of the time, if you see the medias, for example, you can see the terrible stories about fear, about homicides, but there is not much spaces for beautiful stories, successful stories of a recovery of a neighborhood, for example, of reducing match crime indicators. So the idea of the accepted practitioners that are part of the ICA family is that they start using social media and that they can post true stories of success applying accepted. This is a very, very relevant suggestion, to have an active role and to be a person that can really change the environment in a positive way. For that purpose, the main issue is to be very convinced. If you truly believe in what you are doing, then it's easier.
Yeah, so little steps, right?
Yeah, step by step.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
now we have the social medias that are available, are free the most of the time, and it's very easy to use.
Yeah, so there's no excuse not to connect with people, build a network, and so on, because it's so important that we connect. So let's do it locally, and then we can do it globally as well, and continue building our network.
And the same as your case, Mateja, because you are doing so incredible work inside the ICA, and you also are a very committed person, because you are always posting information, you are always connecting. I realized that you also share information that is not only produced by you and ICA, you share also information that comes from other sources, universities, other groups all around the world. The idea is to establish a network of a positive connection, and that makes the change of the environment to be a safer environment more easy.
Yeah, and that's actually almost one of the challenges, because there's so information out there. Sometimes it's also very challenging to know what is, I don't want to say good or bad information, but what is actually, also credible, and also what is useful for our work. But again, I think doing it in our little part of the world and, learning from each other, which is the purpose of the Umbrella Initiative, I think it can help us. We can help each other that way. So, bi-directional communication.
And also in the context of the COVID crisis and the environmental climate change and everything, this is the moment where all people in the world needs to be more supportive, more collaborative than ever. So we are in the right time, and we need to act and to do it.
Exactly, yeah. It's difficult enough. Let's make it easier to each other, and collectively. Yeah. Okay, we have covered quite a lot. Do you have any final concluding thoughts, Macarena? We have kind of gone down that direction, trying to be very inspiring and so on. So
yes, just as closing remarks, I want to thank Matt, your work, Mateja. You are doing an incredible work, and also the work from all ICA board members. They are incredible. Really, the Umbrella Initiative is there because of you. Because you trust and you are working so hard. Today we had an incredible meeting with the newsletter committee. Yesterday we had another, and really your commitment, it's making the difference. So thank you very much for that. And continue working that way.
Oh, really? I can't sleep on my laurels. Thank you as well so much, and to the whole board. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it requires commitment of everyone. So plus also our, I would say, auxiliary members, which are who are not directly, connected to the board per se, but we've definitely had support. And obviously, ICA wouldn't be what it is without their members as well, and broader network and past members and Yeah.
And just I forgot to highlight something very relevant. Past week it was launched the ISO Septet, and two of our ICA board members, Paul van Sommeren and Tim Pascoe, were a very, very relevant of that process, part of that process. So congratulations for Tim and Paul also. And I know that you will produce another session with both, talking in a more deep sense about the ISO Septet that is brand new.
Guess I can't get out of it now that you have committed me to it. Yeah, so we're gonna schedule that. Yeah. Okay. Well, Macarena, thank you so much. I do want to just maybe give a few more, some more information to our members or our viewers today. So here is where you can also find more information. Basically, the material that I have shown you through the screen share. Do check that page on our website. It has some subset pages as well where you can find all the relevant information. But obviously, if you have any more questions or want some clarification, do contact us. And also, we're talking about the importance of membership. Do please join us if you're not yet a member. We do want to, to have you in our family, like we were saying earlier. So, Macarena, thank you again so much for taking the time. It's been my pleasure to have this chat with you. I hope you you feel the same. So thank you again. So
thank you, Mateja. I always love to talk with you.
Yeah, we get carried away sometimes, like today, but I think it's been important. It shows our passion for what we're doing. So thank you again so much. I will run a little promo video, ICA promo video for closing. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you, Macarena. Be safe, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Mateja. Stay safe.
You too, Macarena. Thank you.